everybody.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to Christmas edition of our live stream, where nothing's really different other than the fact that we look ridiculous. And I got a sparkly tree next to me. And it looks much more sparkly on camera than it does in real life.
It really does, yeah.
Everything kind of shimmers as I'm seeing on screen. I even have a twinkle in my eye, which is a little misleading, but that's an entirely separate topic.
You got to do the Santa, finger against the nose thing inexplicably.
That didn't work. So we're going to start the live stream with the obvious, the news that everybody's talking about, which is the Titan RTX cards are here.
They are, and they are
very
affordable.
Very, very affordable to those who have cash to burn while it's in their pockets still. But in all seriousness, I think this is now the generation to which NVIDIA has drawn a clear separated line between when you should use an RTX card for gaming and when you should use an RTX card professionally, and we're going to get into that here in a bit. Price tag is officially $2,500.
Yep.
$2,500 American dollars. Not doll hairs, dollars. Money. Buckazoids. Moolah. Whatever you call it. That is quite the jump. How's the performance? Have you looked into the performance numbers at all, Sean?
A little bit. It's slightly better than 2080 Ti. So it's kind of keeping the same interaction, it seems, as like Pascal's Titan versus 1080 Ti. But with that being said, it seems like they're doing a couple...
Thanks, Wesley. Thank you.
Seems like they're doing a couple things a little bit differently. Like they're just adding in a crap load of memory.
Crap load? That's like an understatement. 24 friggin' gigs of VRAM. Could you imagine SLI combined?
Why?
Why?
Like my first car cost less than that.
Actually, my first car was $500 less than that.
Yep.
And I didn't even know the mileage on it, and I still bought it. So that kind of gives you an indication of where the thought process is with a $2,500 Titan RTX card.
But with that being said, this kind of seems like the first time, because in years past, it seemed like the Titan was if you wanted the fancier 80 Ti. Like it seemed to be that. This almost kind of, like you were alluding to earlier, feels a little bit more like the midpoint between their GeForce product line and Quadro.
Yeah. It's just, at the end of the day, I felt like the Titan cards were always there for bragging rights and for people that were going to complete a mixture of professional work and then also want a game.
Joe.
And have that capability.
What graphics card do you have in your system?
Titan X Pascal. But here's my point, though, okay? That card retailed for like $1,200,
yep.
As to where at the time, the 1080 Ti was like around eight or so?
8 or 9.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So right there's a $400 difference. Some people, a very particular group of people, such as myself, can justify that $400 just to be able to say, I have the top tier card in the series, right? Now, saying the same thing for almost a $1,400 difference, I mean, that's a whole other second card. That's the difference between I could have two RTX 2080 Ti's or I could have a single RTX Titan RTX, which would make sense, again, professionally.
Well, and that's something that was kind of interesting, though. When they came out, what was the Titan XP was the last Pascal Titan, and then they came out with the Titan Volta.
Titan X Pascal, Titan XP.
Yeah, and then they came out with the Volta.
Titan XP Star Wars Edition.
And then they came out with this. It kind of seems the... what was interesting about the Volta jump between like the Titan X Pascal and then the Titan Volta was that the raw horsepower was almost like doubled up.
Raw.
In price corresponded. This actually we're seeing at a $2,500 price point. That's, I think, $500 less than the Titan Volta. Is that about right?
No, it's about right. I actually think the Titan Volta was $3,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is
okay. You were saying the opposite.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. Yeah. So I mean,
so if you look at it from that side, while the pricing is really high, at least they're bringing it back down a little closer compared to the last one.
I'll tell you though, where this card is going to be of value. It's going to be of value to those that are building mini PCs that are mini ITX, and you can only slap a single card in it, and you need the highest possible performing card that you can get because you have no option to expand at that point in time.
Yeah.
That is where a Titan RTX is going to be perfect. So it's niche specific, it is user specific, it is purpose specific, obviously. Only time is going to tell how successful the Titan RTX cards are going to be. I think you're still going to have fanboys that are going to jump on the Titan train and buy it regardless of the price point. I said something really interesting today to Zach when we were in production. And I think the only way that NVIDIA is going to be able to strategically allow people to open themselves up to spending this amount of money as a consumer, I should point out, on a Titan RTX, is if the VRAM on these cards ends up becoming the sole reason or sole purpose that real-time ray tracing is able to perform at high frame rates. I don't know a whole lot about the way that ray tracing taxes a card yet, because it's new technology. I haven't decided to really look into it a whole lot, admittedly, until I feel there's a reason to, until it's no longer a trend or it's no longer a fad and it actually becomes a trend and a desire and a requirement out of users. If that ends up being the case, then people are going to buy this Titan RTX card like crazy.
Yeah, I think that this one's going to... I don't think it's going to do as well as the Titan XP, but I think it's going to do better than the Volta. And it also...
will, absolutely.
I'm curious to see if the Titan RTX coming out affects, development of more things for RTX. Because it's a high-end card, it has ray tracing on it. It's similar to a lot of the GeForce product lines. I wonder if we're going to see this come out, see a lot of developers use it, and then see that benefit trickle down into the other RTX cards.
Man, I hope that happens from a good perspective and not from the bad. And by the bad meaning, you get a video game developer that's developing a game, and it's ridiculously taxing on RTX gen cards.
Yeah.
And then they develop the game around Titan RTX cards. Because what happens is a lot of times when developers have systems in-house that they're developing a game on, they usually tend to optimize it around whatever hardware that they're developing it on.
Well, that's very true. What I'm thinking with this is because the ray tracing tech is so new and so kind of cutting edge that maybe just being able to throw a little bit more horsepower behind it on the development side makes it easier to get to those efficiencies and makes it easier to improve things.
I could see that.
I mean, it's a total speculation, but
it is complete speculation.
Hopefully.
I want to see what kind of temperatures these things rock. First off.
That's a very good point. I'm curious to see how they're gonna stack up thermally with the 2080s.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the Titan RTX was originally the 2080 Ti, but without all the problems that people were running into with them? And so they just found a way to basically profit on fixing the flaw originally and then rebadging and branding it as a Titan RTX.
I mean, that would be, from a business perspective,
smart.
ingenious, but
it would be very
Lord,
smart
if that ever got out.
It never would. That's impossible. You would have to have somebody whistleblow internally, and anybody who works for NVIDIA knows how much that company takes care of its employees.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever going to want to do that. I wouldn't want anybody to do that because I still want NVIDIA to be able to throw their hat into the ring when Intel answers to them, which is something we're going to talk about as well. We just have to wait and see. It's too early. We never usually have performance benchmarks for Titan cards at the announced date, so... Yeah, I would say probably within the next week, especially after the media has their hands on them and does adequate testing, we will start to see where exactly they have placed this card in the lineup.
Yeah, so moving on from NVIDIA, you were talking a little bit about Intel. Before we get into the graphics cards, because I do want to talk about the new graphics cards rumors that Intel's coming out with.
Yes!
There is now, or they're beginning to list, the Xeon W3175X, which is an overclockable Xeon.
This is a Xeon.
Is an overclockable 28-core chip.
Xeon.
So this was...
Overclockable Xeon. I'm going to say it one more time. Overclockable Xeon.
So this was probably the most transparent attempt by Intel to take some thunder away from Threadripper.
Thunder!
Like, everything. It's a little odd. There are a couple concerns that people have with these chips already. Like, for instance, they're $4,000. Which is
chump change.
Just a little pricey.
No, very affordable.
For some reason, despite the fact with the 9900K, 9700K, and a lot of the new Intel chips where they went back to a soldered IHS and we saw some temperature gains, this overclockable Xeon has a non-soldered IHS for some reason.
Those gains.
And then there are a couple other things that make it a little concerning. Like, for instance, apparently the test bench that they were running benchmarks on and they were showing it off with, they had a hidden water-chilled cooler.
That is absolutely no surprise to me.
And the processor needed like 1,000 watts to run, overclocked. Like, this really seems like something that you get the, who's that German dude that does the phenomenal overclocks?
Who?
Bauer? Yeah.
Bauer.
I feel like this is something that I would like to see him use, and I don't know if you're going to see another market for it. What do you think?
First, I want to say A-Dubs TV, you're my kind of people. I love you.
A-Dubs.
Thanks for joining. Happy to see you again, man. Yeah, not surprised at all that Intel was using a chiller because they've been known for doing this. No problems with Intel personally, other than the fact that we're used to this kind of behavior.
That's,
from them by now.
it's a
So
very
no
good point.
surprise. Non-soldered HIS or IHS.
Why?
Yeah, well, you don't need to use a chiller.
Yeah, what's the point of that?
I don't. A Xeon, dude. That's unusual.
I mean, also, you literally just started going back to soldered IHS on your desktop chips. Why are these not hitting your nice ones? Why are these not hitting your top of the line? Like this really feels like Intel saw Threadripper.
Sorry, Bart.
And threw something out.
Dude, I don't know. Why are you working against the grain here, guys? And by guys, I mean Intel. Like, why are you going to use... I mean, yeah, I guess. Liquid metal, you get better performance, but that's the point of solder, though, A-dubs, isn't it? The whole point... Liquid metal's supposed to replace soldered tin. It's not supposed to do any better, right?
And also, if you're going to be overclocking your chip and delitting it and do liquid metal, that just seems like a lot of potential points of failure that would void a warranty for a $4,000 to $4,500 chip.
But that's part of the fun.
I know, but who is this for? Like, the kind of companies that have that kind of money, I don't think there's a huge market
Learn
for this.
something new every day. Solder is worse because liquid metal is thicker, or is thinner. So solder is thicker, therefore the heat transference, the amount of time it takes, and the heat dissipation. Wow, okay, good to know. So why don't they just use liquid metal then? Why solder? I'm sure the manufacturing process does not make that easy, I would imagine. But hey,
If you're, it's yeah, like
not gonna lie, I was a little sad after getting used to the process of delitting a CPU and knowing you're doing something that the manufacturer didn't do to make your product better and therefore protect your investment for a longer term. Yes. I know liquid metal isn't long term, but I mean, I'll tell you what, dude, I got a 4790K that I delitted and I put liquid metal on probably maybe 6 months after the 4790Ks came out. And it's still going, like no overheating. So it works for me.
yeah, no, I mean temporary, yeah, but it'll last a decent amount of time. I just don't. This W3175, it's neat.
It's very neat.
And I'm excited to see benchmarks, and that's about all.
I want to see the kind of boards that come out.
Oh no, some of the boards
support.
have been. Oof, there was some.
Was there anything on the boards? Did you find anything in terms
there
of
was
like
some,
the kinds of boards?
They didn't have like specifics, but if I'm not mistaken, they had like 6 DIMMs. They were
6 DIMMs?
yeah,
6 DIMMs on each side.
I think so.
Oh, dude, that's massive.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like, they came out with. They had some stuff on their press board that you could see that they had the chiller and everything, but I mean, again,
A-Dub said that you're supposed to reapply it every so often, and don't ask him why, because the 7700K is still on the toothpaste. I kind of
Colgate or bust.
I kind of feel like that's almost like when you say that somebody's still on the devil's lettuce. You shouldn't talk to that boy because he's still doing the devil's lettuce. So that's a similar analogy, I feel like.
It's pretty close, I guess.
Yeah. And I have run into a few situations to where some thermal pastes might as well have been toothpaste.
Intel uses Sensodyne.
Got a toothache? Here's some Sensodyne. Oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess Sensodyne does help with like thermal, so that even works on that level.
Try not to. We don't rent to these kind of people. No, Wesley, we do not. Sean, for 6 months, you do not have to pay me rent.
Did I forget the smoking lamp?
The funny thing is, you know all of the names.
I know all of these references,
but you've never watched it.
No, between that the Tu Wong Fu or whatever that you and Casey are always mentioning.
Tu Wong Fu.
That's it. There's so many movies that I have not seen, but I know the references of. Grandma's Boy is probably the biggest one, though.
Really?
You quote that a lot. Not in a bad way.
I mean, that was a movie for the first year after I even knew that it existed. I watched probably close to 25 times.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It was an obsession. It was a bad obsession, admittedly. I had no life. Thank you for everything, Julie Newmar, says Alien Icon.
Oh, I am so sorry.
2-1 Foo.
I didn't
Thank you
say
for
the
everything,
whole
Julian.
title. I
You have
apologize.
to. We have some. You PC, bro? Bro, are you even PC?
Bro.
Bro, you PC while building a PC, bro?
Whew. Yo, dog.
I heard you like PCs. So we're going to be PC while we build PCs so you can be politically correct while you build correct.
All right, so while we're kind of asking questions on what Intel is doing with this overclockable Xeon, there is some positive rumors, or at least some movement that we're seeing coming out of Intel on the graphics card side.
Why? Mr. Cassley, are you referring to the XE
I am.
graphics card rumors?
Yes.
Supposedly Intel has managed to allow some leaks with their Intel XE graphics card. Again, this is purely rumor. This is all speculation. But man, much excite if any of this ends up being true, I got to tell you. So the supposed release, targeted release for these cards is 2020. I got to say, that photo is like perfect for the topic.
Yes.
Because that's like, you don't see any detail of the card. All you see is this
It looks
blue
like Pride
fire
Rock
behind
from
it.
Lion King.
I was going to say either that, I was going to say like Braveheart. Freedom! You know? That was my thought process originally. So it's going to completely replace, again, rumored to replace Gen 11 branding and will be replaced by Gen 12. They're going to split this apparently between two different sectors, and that's going to be the consumer market and then like the enterprise. So I would imagine they would probably do some more like Xeon Phi, right? Do you remember those cards? It was like Intel's Tesla.
Yeah.
You know, it was a compute card. And these things sold out really quick. They were available for such a short time because they were... I remember checking allocation on these things because I was getting people interested and wanting to purchase them and use them in some of their server and their rack mount solutions. And they were gone, like, by the time you would get around to actually pulling the trigger and purchasing one. So
Yeah, they really weren't around a long time.
Oh, yeah. And I know, Ryan, Grandma's Boy is definitely an amazing movie.
Notice how he said was when he first saw it.
So what are you implying,
That feels like there's an implication that it doesn't hold up.
Like, what are you implying, bro? Grandma's Boy not good for you?
Most offensive thing Joe's heard all week.
Right. I'm offended, so I think we need to put something into law that doesn't make me offended because I don't know how to deal with my own feelings, and that's your problem. Sorry. Anyway.
Get back to the nerd talk, Joe. Come on.
Nerds! 10 nanometers, people. This card is a full 10 nanometers, so if you weren't ready for it, it's too bad because you're going to have to wait another year.
That alone kind of is making me pump the brakes a touch.
Whoa.
I've heard a lot about Intel and 10 nanometer.
10 nanometer, I want nothing to do with it. 14, let's have a conversation.
22, yeah.
Screw it, 32. Let's go to 32 nanometers, all right? I want my graphics card to be a brick that I can also use as a weapon.
Well, they're actually, in another couple years, you know, so there's some people that drive jacked up trucks. You're going to have jacked up computers.
Oh, dude.
You know?
Well, you've seen, like, the PC gore on Reddit thread, right?
Yeah. You mean the Verge build?
Snap.
We're just going to put more thermal paste.
Oh, that's almost as bad as terribly unmanaged wires.
You know.
Intel gonna give it to you. Wait, oh no, not again. No, don't do it, A-Dubs.
No, A-Dubs, you keep at this. We will make him do the full, like, we'll teach him all the lyrics.
I'm going to do it now. This is what I'm going to do all through Christmas. And I'm going to have, like, my in-laws
just
giving me
ignoring
stares.
your family and your children.
I'm going to be in the corner of, like, a crowded room of people with earbuds in, just like, hey, what's he doing? He's listening to DMX.
He's getting in his zone, bro.
I'm just sitting there. I'm quiet. All the people hear me in the background. What? So,
who was it? Vince Staples. DMX hit the pookie, then went platinum. If you ain't smoking crack, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, no, DMX was a new level of fun crazy, man. He was the ODB, just a little trashy.
Yeah, some of the interviews he's given publicly are entertaining, but also major train wrecks.
Oh, like the last album cover that he put out legitimately looked like a PlayStation 1 game cover. It was amazing. It was
what would you have called the PlayStation 1 game?
It had a great name. It was Redemption of the Beast.
It just sounds like the sequel to Altered Beast.
Oh, dude, it looked exactly like a PlayStation 1 game. Bad. Oh, it was... Music wasn't that bad. And A-Dubs is right. You do have to bark more if There it is. Yeah. There you go. There you go. It's getting closer. Yeah, give it another week. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be just fine.
I don't know if it sounds like that I'm just getting punched in the gutter if I'm barking.
I mean, that's exactly where you want it to be.
This is what happens when you egg me on with urban music that I'm not versed on.
Jesus.
Now I'm seeing spots.
Just sounded like 75 years old.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't understand this urban music. Why do I have a slight British accent?
All right. Wild card. Running a 2700X, skipping the Intel nonsense. Yeah, don't blame you.
Too much eggnog? I don't like eggnog.
Yeah, eggnog's...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think after like a little one of those little cups, you're like... Ugh.
Wildcard said that he's running 2700X and skipping Intel nonsense, and I can't blame you. Dude, I recommend all the time. A majority of people... What?
We'll show you the playback. I said that like exact sentence like 5 seconds
Was
ago.
I in the middle of barking?
Yes.
That's why. Dude, when I'm barking, I'm in the zone. I don't know what's going on. There could be an earthquake around me. The building could be on fire. And whoa! Whoa! By the time I come to, everybody's gone and I'm halfway burning. And then I just become the dog meme. This is fine. This is fine. I'm okay with this. I've recommended almost anybody that I know, friends and family-wise, to Ryzen solutions. Because everybody's like on a budget.
Well,
Not to mention most of my family members, like they don't game with the frequency that I do. They're like, I'd just like to have something to like play PC exclusives on.
Well, that's something I really, really liked that Ryzen did. And I mean, my little cousin, when we built him a system, that's why I put him in Ryzen, was that AMD committed to the AM4 socket through 2020. Like, they did that in, what, 2016? Having, especially in contrast with Intel, who's changing their socket twice a year, that alone just kind of, that I feel like did a lot to bring AMD back into the market. I think that was a factor that not a lot of people are talking about. The fact that they're sticking with that socket is huge.
I just don't understand why it makes sense for Intel to change the socket unless there's something on the engineering level that I'm not aware of.
Because you need to buy a new board, man.
No, honestly, I mean, that could be a part of it, but then you also have to bear in mind that if AMD is not changing their socket design, it's because it makes sense cost-wise. They're not having to re-engineer something to appropriate something that they just engineered from scratch or, improved. Based on previous technology.
Well, I can agree with that.
Keep that in mind.
They've been on the 1151 socket for how long? And I mean, the fact that with Intel and AMD going after each other so much, I feel like if Intel had something to back up why they keep changing the socket on a technical level, they would really be kind of hammering on that in their marketing material, you'd think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, they're getting beat up by AMD decently right now. You'd think that they would kind of bring that up if it was as much of a factor,
Yeah. Actually, the socket didn't even change. They just want you to buy a new board.
Yeah, socket chipset. They're not changing a whole lot.
I think A-Dubs is mocking you.
Probably. Yeah, no, I get it.
A-Dubs, you should get a job like being the guy that is in charge of typing out all the closed captions. I think you would bring new life to people who rely on those closed captions for their viewing experience. Let's just hire me. We don't have a position for that yet.
Also,
but if I had an excuse to hire you, I would.
Where you live to try and send you a shirt like 3 times, and you won't let us know. Like
maybe
in like Canada or something.
No, man. But maybe he doesn't want you to know where he lives because he knows that you're never going to stop and knocking. And then he'll have me knocking on the door. Hey, Dubs, what? Sean, gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. I just want to get your shirt, bro.
I just came here to be in a safe space.
Hey. Chipsets even support Gen 4. It's pretty stupid, yes? Yes, they do. It's like I was actually pretty shocked when I learned that the 390 boards were backward compatible with anything that was supported with the 370s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually pretty shocked. I thought they were going to do new socket, new support, new gen. But no, they didn't, which is nice because I have a lot of clients right now that we've been working on creating solutions around Z370 boards. And then, they got to get budgets aligned. They got to get approvals. And then in comes the purchase. It's like, hey, those 370 boards that you were just talking about like 3 months ago, gone. Mm-hmm. So what now? What now? 390s.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, anywhere between a $10 to a $20 delta, depending on which board it is you're looking at. But
But I mean, considering the jumps they've done in the past, that's actually not too bad. I just want to see the next chipset have more Q codes.
It could be worse.
I miss Z170 for that reason.
Ryan,
I love that feature.
If you want to consider Intel for your next system, just make sure that it makes sense to you. If you're gonna stretch any portion of your build too thin because you're buying an Intel, and that means now you have to get a slower graphics card, don't do it. Gaming PCs, you work backwards based on specifications compared to everything else. The graphics card is like the very first thing that you budget the most for.
Absolutely.
Then it goes CPU, and then memory, and then storage. So.
And if you're planning on overclocking, you probably need to put a little bit more into the board, but if you're not, you can save that for later.
Yeah. Yeah, other than power possibility, and I'm assuming that you're probably, A-dubs, I'm assuming you're probably referring to VRMs. Cooling as well, board cooling. That's the reason why the 390 boards even came out to begin with. The new power phase design that was required of the 9th gen was not supported on 370s. You could use a 370 board, but you will burn up every single board that you use it in, guaranteed. That's just what from what we kind of
Well, I was reading an article, and you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember the exacts, but I think it was somebody had a 9900K or 9700K, and they got an insane overclock on a Z170 board.
Oh, really?
Screwing with, yeah. They'd taken a stripped-down Z170 board and overclocked.
Oh, they stripped it, they? Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sean, gonna give it to you? We're not doing this. No.
We need like some soft like piano music playing in the background right now. With just like a random ooh.
All right, even the AMD video cards ain't such a bad choice. Cheaper upgrade.
True, but
Very
small
true.
gains though.
Yeah, that.
And Vega 56 is an overclocking monster.
It is.
But
it's Vega 56. Oh, we're about to pump in AMD up. I don't feel bad saying that.
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I mean? Like
they're doing
AMD
so
has
well
been
with
knocking
Threadripper.
so much stuff out of the park that I don't feel bad blasting them for a couple things.
Let me put it this way, okay? So we have collaborated with a company by the name of Grayscale Gorilla. Yep. And what these guys do is they create some really badass Cinema 4D and Octane rendering plugins that make doing some really cool things in those applications super simple, right? We helped them build some PCs, and they started to record their experience since receiving these PCs. It's a big deal because Nick, one of the founders, just converted from a Mac to a PC. It is the first PC he's ever used, right? There's 3 configurations we have on our page that were all built for Grayscale Gorilla. 2 of them were Threadripper. 1 was Intel. Memory serves me correct. The Intel solution is actually cheaper than the Threadripper because of its built. And we have not sold.
Intel?
I have not sold a single Intel Grayscale Gorilla workstation.
They've all been what X399 Meg Creation boards,
Yep,
too, right?
Meg Creation. Some people went to a different board because the Meg Creation was purchased based on preference from Chad Ashley, and it's a solid board, so I couldn't argue with him about that at all. Right? Some people have been wanting the same similar setup, but the ability to expand to 4 cards. So I've had to use a different MSI board. It's an MSI like AC gaming board. That's X399. But still, all practically the same stuff, thanks to MSI. Thank you. And that's got to speak for something, right? When you have Threadripper PCs that are priced higher and those are selling.
Threadripper is...
where you at, Intel?
Yeah, it just keeps getting... There are some minor issues with Threadripper, like RAID's a pain in the butt. But that... compared to the amount of improvements and gains that you're seeing, especially at the price point, is practically negligible. True. I think, at least.
Do you mean, A-dubs, do you mean the RTX 1060?
Well, actually, we're going to be talking about that in a couple seconds.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Do you want to talk about NVIDIA doing some more weird stuff, or do you want to talk about AMD putting another feather in their cap first?
Oh, no.
Because those are 2 things we've got.
First, I want to address Wildcard 1978 by saying, yes, I know NVIDIA cards are getting way overpriced, and they're kind of doing AMD a lot of favors. No, I don't think that they're their best cards either. I'm biased against AMD graphics cards right now because, again, I remember when AMD used to go toe-to-toe with NVIDIA, and it kind of feels like they're just not trying as hard as they used to, or that they're playing it from a different angle that I don't quite understand yet. Mm-hmm. And the RX 590s are a great value, but I will say one thing, man, it's too little too late, in my opinion. If they would have done this when 1060 cards came out,
Yeah.
like they used to do. They would go toe to toe, and it'd be like, AMD cards, it's 5% slower, but it's $150 cheaper. Like AMD used to kill the budget race for that regard. NVIDIA was like, oh, you're the elite. PC Master Race elite because you have an NVIDIA. Now that doesn't. They're getting to that point where that may actually happen again, and that's exciting.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they showed that they can still come back and compete, just not quite in the GPU market yet.
Yeah,
I do think AMD will come back because something that is interesting, and this is kind of on the stock side of things, is AMD's being added to the NASDAQ 100, which is essentially a listing of some of the biggest non-financial. So this doesn't include like banks and stuff. It's practically every other company. They're joining.
Is that Elon?
No, that's Lisa Su, I think. You thought Lisa? Nah, we're not even doing that. So it's based on market cap. So the amount of shares out there by what the shares cost. It's essentially the value of the company. AMD is about to join NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Cisco, Facebook, a bunch of other these massive tech companies. Which is just kind of further evidence on the financial side that AMD is doing really well. Now, why this is neat is we talked last week about how NVIDIA's stock is not doing great. This is almost the exact opposite. They're doing very well. You're seeing their profit margins. In I think September 2016, they were at 4.5%.
Dude, a lot of that has to do with
now.
A lot of that has to do with Mrs. Sue, 100%.
Oh, she's been.
I didn't mean for that to rhyme, by the way. That just kind of happened.
Yeah, no, but she's been doing really well, and AMD in general has been doing really well. So this not only means that, because we're talking about it from a tech side, where their products are good, their CPUs are amazing, video cards are there.
Thanks for the Infinity Fabric.
You're also seeing the business side of things. So your Dow Jones kind of people, you know what I mean? Your folks that are looking at it more as a business rather than as a tech company. It's even doing well on that market. So I think we're going to see a lot more interesting stuff out of AMD, especially in contrast to NVIDIA.
I have a lot of interest in seeing AMD succeed based on the path that they're headed down, especially with Threadripper.
Yeah.
It feels really good, man, to be able to, for me as a professional, have kind of my cues when it's appropriate to recommend an Intel and when it's appropriate to recommend a Threadripper. But I have to be honest with you, I cannot remember the last time I I just by default recommended a Threadripper workstation. Mm-hmm. I only really ever quote Intel now unless it's requested, like we need an Intel, we want an Intel. I even had a customer that bought a 5960X. They were like, we need something better than this. We want to double it, but my budget's restricted. And I quoted the 24-core Threadripper, and he was just like, wow, how did you pull that off? I'm like, thank AMD. Don't thank me. I'm not the hero. Lisa Sue's the hero. Mm-hmm. The engineers that worked on Threadripper and the Infinity Fabric design, they the real MVP.
They are.
Oh yeah, I know they're ironing out the Infinity Fabric issues wildcard, but that's easy to do kind of where they're at now. Like we even saw that in our own internal testing when we started working with the 2700X CPUs and testing against memory with really low latency and the kind of like magical performance numbers we were seeing because of the Infinity Fabric design and the improvements. Like it's a matter of time, dude. They're just kind of creeping. As long as they keep the momentum going, I think we're going to see some amazing things in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I really do.
Do you really?
They're doing well in just about every metric, which is it's exciting to see because I mean, what was it 4 or 5 years ago? AMD was
not good.
Yeah,
not a flying toy.
No, they were not doing hot in any way, shape, or form.
No, they definitely
they really turned it around.
They were really not coming to the rescue. They did not come in peace. They did not go to Infinity Fabric and beyond. Did you hear what I did there? Oh! Anyway, we'll talk about something that's not so fantastic so we can get it out of the way, and it has to do with user privacy.
Yeah.
On Facebook. For all of you that really don't follow the shady dealings of Facebook,
of which there are plenty.
Yeah, it might be good to know that if you're using both Spotify and Netflix, that's great, awesome services. But Facebook done sold you out to them. If you've ever said anything that you've needed to be kind of kept under wraps under the user message interface in Facebook, Spotify and Netflix may have seen it because Facebook gave them access to it.
Yep.
Moment of silence for how stupid this situation is.
So what's interesting, though, is it's Facebook. Like, are they...
People are calling to have Zuckerberg fired.
Well,
like, step down, Zuckerberg, step down.
I just feel like because Facebook is such a behemoth right now, it's either they're going to fix things or it's going to get worse, and then just freaking implode. They feel like they've been getting a lot of bad press lately. Like, a lot.
Yeah, oh, hey,
Ruru.
I feel like, hey, Ruru. I feel like it's going to take a lot to get Zuckerberg out of the position that he has put himself in with Facebook. The amount of things that he's had to do to get to where he's at, it's going to take more than this. It's going to take a level of embezzlement that Facebook can't recover from, I think.
Or criminal charges or something. Like, I think it'll have to escalate that high because they're just so in everything.
I know. Dude, it's disgusting. Is the only other way I can put it. It is just awful.
While we're talking about awful, as if product lines weren't already confusing enough, we have some indication that there may be a new NVIDIA product line coming out.
But
yeah. So,
why?
So first off, the 2060 has essentially been confirmed. So there's going to be a 2060, 2070, 2080, and 2080 Ti. Those three are all out. 2060 has been rumored. There's been some leaked photos of a gigabyte card. It is pretty much going to come out.
Oh, I remember we talked about this a while ago.
Well,
before the rumors of the RTX cards.
Yeah, and how they're going to split.
Yeah, it's going to be 11 series instead of 10.
Either 11 or 16 for some reason.
What?
So this is coming from videocards.com, which is essentially where every leak comes from for GPUs, it seems, or at least that's the source that a lot of people will cite.
Gross.
A couple interesting things. They're pulling their info from a Chinese site, and obviously these are rumors, so take everything with a grain of salt. But
what if you don't like salt?
Well, then get out.
What? But cholesterol, blood pressure. I can't. Pepper's better.
I mean,
changed my mind.
White pepper, black pepper.
Both.
I mean, that just feels a little ambitious.
You got a problem with both kinds of pepper?
The word salary is based on the root of the Latin word for salt. That's how important that stuff is, man. Like, I feel like you're talking about pepper too much. That hasn't changed. Human
flop
work. I don't know.
Anyway. Yes, Six Kitties. Google Plus is shutting down, and Netflix is the new Facebook. They actually, in that same article, by the way, they were talking about how somebody left a comment about how funny it would be if Netflix tried to start a dating service. Like, here's 8 other people that have also binge watched this TV series. Or that would be, think about how many single people like, man.
Actually,
I want to meet the woman that binge watched like the entire series of
RuPaul's Drag Race,
of Fuller House.
A Fuller House. Oof.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Why would you say that?
We have a coworker that is in love with that show.
I kind of find it entertaining too.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
I can't wear a sweater like this and then go home and watch that. It's just
why?
It's too weird, man.
If you combed your hair over in a bad way, then it would be kind of
fair.
Be kind of weird. But the one thing I can say about the rebranding, to jump back to that kind of makes sense. I can kind of see it. If they end up doing 16 or even 15, that would be kind of their way of saying, oh, this is a card that's in between last gen, which is 10, and this gen, which is 20. Then I can kind of see how that just makes sense. But if you're going to pick a random number like 16, are they trying to say it's a little more than half? Like, it's 60%.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're breaking it out. It's most likely going to be a GTX product line with RTX. And what I find kind of interesting is, so if the 2060's been all but confirmed, and then all of the kind of leaks that we've seen about the GTX product line, we'll call it, it's either going to be 11 or 16 or something different, who knows. That also, a lot of the promotional material that we've seen has come out that it has that 60 branding. So I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to see both like an 1160 and a 2060 both releasing around the same time.
That's going to be so confusing, though.
I mean, it's already so confusing.
It's so far it's been clear once they've jumped into the 20 series. You have the 2070, the 2080, 2080 Ti, and Titan RTX.
Like, yeah, but the product line's only half out.
They should have kept it that way, though, is my point. Like, it's clear as is. If they're going to draw it to something that's lower. They should have kept a similar moniker that they've already invested so much time into that people now understand, i.e., 1050, 1060, 1070, 1080, even the 1030 cards. That was a step in the right direction, because before you'd have like the 900 series and they're like, here's a GT 730, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? But the 700 series was like last year. Why? Here's another 730 GT, but low profile. Okay, we get it. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So yeah, I mean, it's more of these product lines just getting more and more confusing. And yes, there is some rumors that Navi's next, or AMD's next big video card generation will be called the 3000 series, which is essentially what they did to Intel with Threadripper. Intel had the X299 boards, and AMD was like, Threadripper's X399, because we like confusing people. So there's some rumors going around that may be what they're doing with their next GPU launch as well, but that's completely unconfirmed.
What?
Like, so they might be jumping to the next RX, like RX 3000 would be the next card after the Vega 56, because they're trying to, yeah, it's the same thing that they did with sockets.
Because it's 2000s, now they're doing 3000.
Right.
Wow,
Unconfirmed
to
rumor,
imply that it's
be
a higher number, it's
yeah.
faster perform. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This was like, do you think maybe it's like spite out of the fact that nobody wanted to deal with NVIDIA's like rumored partnership program and how shady it was?
Oh, that went away pretty quickly. What was it?
I don't even remember what it's called. I didn't care for it so much.
Yeah, it was like they were making
partner. It was like GPP.
Yeah,
GeForce Partner Program,
something like that.
Premier Partner or whatever.
Well, they were going to have Asus wasn't allowed to sell AMD Strix products anymore. They would have to rename it like the Arez or something. They had to pick out a
They
different
had to
brand
change
name.
it. They couldn't, in order for you to continue making NVIDIA cards as an Asus manufacturer, ROG must be specific to NVIDIA. And NVIDIA was like, what? Huh? How long is it until we reroute to 9800 GTX? I hope never.
Yeah, but with the pattern of things going, maybe within like 2 years.
Because after the 9800 GTX, that's when everybody thought they were going to do like 10,000s. And then it was just like GTX 280. And you're like, what? That number's lower. That's not higher. And they're like, yeah, well, GTX 480. And you're like, what happened to the last two? 580. Oh, you're following it. And 680, 780. All right, 980. Okay. Now, I know that NVIDIA had some of the GTX 880s were mobile specific.
Yeah, those were all mobile, right?
They were mobile specific. Yeah. But yeah, things aren't starting to make sense anymore. It's like they're running out of clear paths to make it easy to see which card is better than the other, or they're just trying to confuse the hell out of people. I don't know. One of the two. Ares. There you go.
Yep, that was it.
Rudu to save the day. Ares.
Yeah, that got pulled pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, Wildcard. NVIDIA never officially stated that they were trying to force people to stick with known name brands within their product line to NVIDIA only. But, man, was there a lot of language to imply that.
Yeah.
A lot of language. And the only people that ever basically called them out for it was Hard OCP. Wrote a huge article that called them out for it. And then basically NVIDIA was like, we're not going to do the GPP program. It was supposed to be something great, but you all ruined it. That's like me when I tell my daughter, no, you can't have your nightlight because you were bad today. And if you want anybody, blame yourself. Not my problem, except it wasn't anybody else's fault for asking questions. Anyways, I'm going to stop beating that horse because it's been buried 6 feet under like a year ago.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So, on to...
Actually, ADubs brings up an interesting point. The GTX 11 series is probably just a rebranded 10 series. I'm curious to see. I think there's going to be a lot of recycling.
Yeah, here's what they tend to do with every new series. So, what was the 1080 is now going to essentially be like based on the way that they may label things. But for simplicity's sake, for my explanation, let's say everything's going to start with 20. So, the last generation's 1080 is going to be like this generation's 2060. Is what it's going to be. That's typically what they do. It's just literally a 1080 that's been rebadged, rebranded, or refined down to that kind of card's performance level. And the price to do so usually tends to drop significantly so they can sell it at that $250, $300 price point without a problem. Yep. Unless you're going to do what a lot of people are thinking Intel is going to try to do to compete with NVIDIA when they come out with their cards, and that's just take a bath in losses for the first 2 years just to steal the market away from NVIDIA as much as possible.
Like at this
and
point,
then
I'm a
position
little
themselves strategically.
Because Intel and NVIDIA both been doing some odd things. I'm kind of excited to see those two companies that have both been doing, at least in my opinion, fairly similar things with making their product lines. They're breaking them out more. They're making them more confusing. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing those two competing because I'm hoping they give each other a bunch of crap for the stuff that they're both doing, just because that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, Intel did do a lot of business practices that people saw were unfair. They were accused of quote unquote buying the business, which was one thing that honestly we never really dealt with that from them. So I can't speak from personal experience. From my working with Intel has been very simple to do and great over the years, and I can't think of really anything they've ever done that was shady.
Yeah, and to be fair, from the support department, Intel is without a doubt the best vendor to get replacement parts through.
Overnight replacements.
Not even close. They will send overnight advanced replacements. They handle things quickly, faster than anybody else. So I mean that does deserve to be said. We beat up on Intel a decent amount, but as far as our interactions with them, they're all pretty good.
Look, I wouldn't say we beat up on them because beat up would mean like just savagely defacing everything they try to do unreasonably. And I'll give them credit where credit is due, but I'm also going to tell them from a consumer standpoint when I feel like they're doing something that's not so great. And I mean no ill will from it. It's just my own opinion. Not even the express permissions as written from a company standpoint. Just mine. Huh?
Nothing. Wasn't funny.
BFL?
The NFL?
Oh, I'm not gonna. I'm not kneeling.
It wasn't a good joke. Yeah, it wasn't.
I'm not gonna kneel. I'm not gonna kneel. I refuse. Intel was pressuring Dell and HP. That's sure, but that's a pretty high executive level though. You gotta bear that in mind. And I agree, Rudo. Pascal's still great. My brother's still using a Pascal card. Doesn't really have any complaints. Works for him. Although he really wanted an RTX card when they first came out.
Using Pascal cards.
Yes. His is it's not the Titan XP or the Titan X even, I think, but still he's happy with it, and he really wanted an RTX card until he realized that he could like upgrade half of his PC for the same price point. He's like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
can't do it. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Anyway, AVA news.
Heyo. So, as if our production staff wasn't already sad enough,
they're going to be even sadder.
Oh, yeah. We are running another sale.
End of the year sale savings. No, it's basically going to be almost as great of a promotion as our Cyber Monday and our Black Friday deals were. The only reason being is, well, that's a sale that you have to look forward to. So we're just, if you like tiramisu, we're not going to serve you tiramisu every single day because then you're not going to want it anymore. So let's just be honest with ourselves, okay? You got to get on it while you can. So end of the year sale is still better than what we're doing now, obviously, in terms of the price point. That is going to start next Wednesday on the 26th, after Christmas. That is going to go all the way into the new year. It is the last big-time sale of this year, people. So if you've been procrastinating on a PC purchase and you can't make up your mind, well, we just made up your mind for you because I challenge you to find a better deal anywhere else. And if you do find a better deal anywhere else, let me know, and I'm still going to beat it. Come at me, brah. Or miss. Or thing. Or dog. Or cat. I don't care. But you can check out our sneak peek that's up on our site now.
Mittens needs a rendering workstation.
Give it to me right meow. I mean, you got to pay for rush processing. I want it right meow. You're being very unreasonable, Mr. Snuggles. All right. I mentioned Grayscale Gorilla earlier, by the way. We are labeling these as application-specific workstations designed for content creators. We have our own landing page for Grayscale Gorilla. Again, Chad, Nick, Chris, all great individuals. I enjoyed working with them and helping them build out their systems. They're also doing stuff on their site as well to kind of document the progress of their usage and what they're learning about PCs and what they enjoy. We have a page to which the address is fairly simple. It's avadirect.com/Grayscale Gorilla Systems, and that's Gray, G-R-E-Y, because some people spell it G-R-A-Y, and I don't know why. We can do the same for you guys, obviously. If you don't see a particular option that's listed on these configurations, just let me know. I will make that happen. I will be Magic Johnson of PCs. What? No, please, by all means, say it. Say what's on your mind. I don't have to inject money into myself, if that's what you're wondering.
I mean, I just...
Happy holiday.
Magic Mundy has a terrifying sound to it.
Magic Mundy?
Yeah, it's got like...
I haven't been called that in a long, long time, Sean, and that was a very dark time in my life. Okay?
It's down on Skid Row.
Here I go again on my own.
Whitesnake?
Yes, Titan RTX cards are for sale. Since we were talking about those as well, you can build those out in practically every gaming PC and workstation that we have listed on our site. If, for any reason, you don't see it listed, again, please let me know. You can't afford nice stuff until you win it. Well, maybe we'll do a giveaway with some nice stuff wild cards, so you should stay tuned.
Bart Von Doom, great name, by the way.
Bart Von Doom?
Do a special Monday sale and call it Mundy Monday. It's actually a pretty good idea.
Oh my God, what?
Bart, are you the same Bart that was helping us torture Kyle last week? Because if so, A+.
If we get enough votes for the Mundy Monday, we'll do it. We will do it. I will
convince the same
somebody.
Bart.
We will do it. Yeah, the same Bart that we pulled Kyle on air for, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you tend to have a lot of influence here, apparently, Bart, so the Mundy Monday may actually happen. I get all the time, just, I get all the time from our CEO, like he'll walk up to me on Wednesday, just like, hey, Joe, it's not your day. And I take that as like, this is just not your day, man. I'm like, what do you mean it's not my day? Well, because it's Wednesday. It's not Monday.
Oh, dude, they're all the time. People are like, hey, can I leave a message for Joe Monday? It's like, no.
No, because it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next week. You have to wait 6 whole days before you can leave him a message. Are you sure your name's not Joe Friday? Like the detective? You're a comedian, sir. Congratulations. You've overused the same joke over and over that I've heard my entire life. That's like my father-in-law. His name's Charlie. So I used to go, sorry, Charlie. And he'd be, I never heard that before. I'm Charlie Tuna. Bloop, bloop.
How is your pop culture god, by the way?
He's doing okay.
He still hasn't seen anything relevant.
He's hanging in there. He's wearing an ugly sweater.
He is.
Ugly Christmas sweater like Sean's here, except I like it because he's got the buttons down it to make it look like it's like a Santa Claus button-up.
Oh, he has that like,
and he kind of
your grandma wears.
He kind of like flexes his stomach out, so like he's going to grow up to be a great grandpa just because his stature's there. So he's like, hey guys. Hey. You doing anything? Sweater?
Monday Madness is totally a brand. So much pent-up resentment.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we have to live stream so that we can work through, being made fun of as children.
What we should do is we should also do like a social challenge for Monday Madness Monday. See how many people can say that at the fastest BPM and the amount of times after the other. And the one person that can say it the fastest and the longest will win something. You try it. Say Monday Madness Monday 3 times real fast.
Monday Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday.
Well, you had to take breaks. So you got Monday Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday.
Yeah, but I made it through all 3.
I can't. Yeah, but you did it slow though.
Yeah,
Monday Madness Monday.
I would have.
Monday Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday. See, let's.
Yeah.
Try and say it faster.
Monday
Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday. Monday Madness Monday. Ah! That hurt. My eyeballs are going to bleed out of my sockets.
You can definitely tell it's the end of the year. Like
yes.
we're losing
our minds. It's the end of the year as we know it.
And I feel fine.
Monday Madness Monday, Monday Madness Monday, Monday Madness Monday. No? Okay. Moving on. Move along, program.
Yeah. All right, let's
Oh, by the way, happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody, and happy Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus.
What's the Scientology holiday for Christmas?
Yule? Well, no, it's not Scientology. That's another one.
Blessed Yule.
I don't know. Like,
I thought Yule was Swedish.
Yule's like old Scandinavian pagan,
Is it?
I think.
I don't know.
I don't.
Mundane Madness Monday? I mean, we could, but then what we'll do, and hello, Deno.
He created a monster. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Bart.
You are...
Boo.
Your name should be Bart Pundoom. I mean, wow. This is normal? No, it's not. This is not normal. And if we offered Mundane Madness Monday, it would just be like the worst sales ever.
I mean...
Like a spoof, obviously. Like, buy an Intel processor for $900.
Wouldn't that just be like a Monday where we don't have a sale? Those are the mundane Mondays?
Yeah. I guess. Or Mundane Mondays where we only sell configurations with like the worst hardware in it.
Yeah. It's AM3 socket and 4 only.
We should just flip the script like Celeron processor starting at $400, clocked at 2.2, 3 gigs of DDR2 because we couldn't afford to post the 4 gigs.
So as we start to wrap up, I want to get a little bit. The Steam Winter Sale started, which is like
the saying, not
that
the sales
is the
itself.
Christmas time for nerds. Like I'm excited to buy more games that I'm never going to play.
Hey man, we didn't tell everybody when we were going to be closed. Slow your roll, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're going to be closed this coming Monday through Tuesday, and we'll be back on Wednesday. So hold your hugs until then. We hope you guys all have a safe holiday. Be safe. If you are going to participate in shenanigans,
Go light on the eggnog.
be safe. Take your keys, throw them somewhere where you're going to forget about them. You'll be pissed the next morning because you won't remember, but you will be safe. Tip your waitress. That's it. So we're talking about the Steam sale now?
Yeah, I mean it's the Steam sale started I think yesterday, goes through the 3rd.
Oh, I got a notification that like 25 games on my wish list were on sale, and I looked at them all, and I'm like, I haven't even played the 300 plus games that I already have, so no!
There are a couple on there that I saw that actually if you haven't played, I would suggest. XCOM 2, if you if you like RTS games, play XCOM and XCOM 2. They are punishing, but they are fun.
I like Riddick games.
Portal 2's on there. Don't Starve Together. Dying Light. Those were kind of the 4 I cherry picked that looked interesting to me. I think I'm going to pick up Dying Light.
Dude, that's a really fun game.
Things from you on that.
That's a really fun game. Casey and I played it for probably like a month straight, and we did anything and everything we could. I mean, anything and everything we could in that game until it was just like, man, I'm getting tired of beating zombies with blunt objects. Can we just try something else? Then we played Don't Starve. And I really didn't want to play it anymore after I had to start using console commands to stay warm in the winter. Casey was fine. Like, she's like doing everything she needs to do to survive, staying by the fire, gathering wood, getting food. I am running around as a Don't Starve Geralt figurine, and I'm freezing to death every 2 minutes. So I'm punching in a console command because I'm not able to comprehend the balance of the mechanics in Don't Starve. And Casey's just like looking at me with a look of disgust, like, why did I not use this as a trial for determining whether you were worth marrying? And I'm like, I gave you children. Please don't hate me.
Yeah. And other things that are coming out is there's a new map for PUBG. Now, are you excited about this?
I am because it's winter, dude. Snow.
Fair.
I want to get a snowsuit and a loot drop. I want that.
Dude, do you have any idea? This is going to make it so much harder for me to play PUBG because I exclusively have a naked character, at least just underwear only. Like, I don't know. I find it funny. You're going to stick out so much more. I'm just going to keep getting shot. I don't know.
Somebody asked to replace the circle with a blizzard. So, like, when you go out of the circle, it's a blizzard, basically.
Actually, that'd be pretty cool.
As long as they don't call it a storm. Because that's fork knife territory there, sir. I don't want anything to be referred to as a storm. Heroes of the Storm. Riders of the Storm. That's when Fork Knife would be born. Heroes of the Storm.
Are you still playing PUBG? That's my honest question.
The last time I played PUBG was with our Commander-in-Chief.
When was that? Like recently?
About a week ago.
Oh, okay. I haven't touched PUBG since Black Ops 4 came out.
It was super fun. It was super fun because he is the only person I know that will just go like knee deep in the poop in the areas of the map where you know you're going to die right away. And he's like, ah! And we jump in and die like within 2 minutes. We're like, okay, again. And everyone wants to like play it safe.
Oh no, you jump into the middle of it. That's a way more fun way to do it.
Dude, I know, right? And like, that's how you get better. Like you get good, bro.
Also, like just you get the chance to try and murder somebody with a frying pan, which is really one of the better parts of that game.
Dude, for me, it's always the S686. I sit around the corner, I just pop somebody in the face on the S686, and you know, you're like the people on the other side are sitting there slamming their fists on the desk because they just died by a shotgun. Because it's like such a basic weapon that people overlook and don't use. But when you learn to have the discipline to be able to only pull the trigger when you know you're gonna like hit somebody with a bullet, the shotgun is so devastatingly awesome. It's such a bad time for anybody that gets hit by it, at close range especially.
What is ROE?
Ring of Elysium?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that actually.
Ring of Elysium. I think that was one of the first Battle Royale games before Battle Royale became a trend.
And Battle Royale is Battle Royale now is what Zombies was, like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
You just can't get away from it.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Wildcard. I only play PUBG with actual human beings. I stopped playing it by myself because it just became depressing and lonely.
It's definitely a social game.
No one to talk to. You're just like hiding in a bush by yourself in level 1 gear with nothing but like a crowbar and a pistol, and you're like, oh, my life sucks. This is what life has brought me. Runs better than PUBG. I'll have to give it a shot. We also messed with the idea when we get back to doing game streams next month that maybe we would do like invites. Like we would invite people to play with us that aren't on staff, so we could do like 4-person matches.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do like Left 4 Dead or something like that. Would be wonderul.
For sure, super fun. Oh, and it's free to play.
Nice. Oh, right.
I like not having to spend money.
A shot.
So what do you think, Sean?
What?
Do you think there's anything else worth talking about here?
Nah.
Or are we going to call it quits until the holiday season's over?
I think we can call it a good Christmas break there.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Admittedly, I'm sorry for kind of losing my stuff for a second because I'm anxious to just go through the holiday season and get back to the swing of things come next year. So we will be back Friday, right?
Absolutely.
We will be back Friday. No one's going anywhere?
Nope.
We're good? No one's all right? Okay. So thanks for joining us, and you have yourself a happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Night, night.